The erstwhile governor of Bayelsa State has sent a word of advice to the governor of Rivers State, Simlain Fubara, amidst rift with the Federal Capital Territory Minister, Yeson Wike. Dickson warned Fubara not to forget the human machinery that helped him take over the office of the #1 citizen of the oil-producing state. The senator gave the warning when he led a team of political and traditional leaders in Bayelsa on a solidarity visit to the Rivers State Government House in Port Harcourt on Monday, May 6th. He urged Fubara to acknowledge and thank Wike for helping him to attain his position as governor. This being said, acknowledging that power comes from above and that God gives it to whoever he pleases at any time he pleases. It is also appropriate at this point to acknowledge and especially thank the human instruments that God used in supporting you, your deputy, and our party, PDP, into office in Rivers State at the time he did, especially the person of your predecessor and my brother, the current Minister of FCT. He warned that if the political crisis in the state was not handled with care, it could destroy the foundations led by the state's past leaders. Dickson then called for support, unity, and reconciliation for Rivers State leadership. His call came amid political developments that threatened the state's stability and progress. Let me start with you, Mr. Ugochukwu. What do you make of this call by Dickson to Governor Fubara?
First off, I would say the the headline or the news item, per se, is sort of misleading because I am well aware of that visit in Government House, and it was in that visit that the governor made the statement of when people talk about restraint and how he has been the one applying restraint in all this, quagmire, and if you could see where Dickson was quoted, using the statement Dickson wants is more like a deliberate attempt to mislead, because what Dickson did there, Dickson came and sought for peace. I can tell you, I can remember vividly when Doediri, upon winning his re-election, made a statement to the public, and where he acknowledged that his predecessor was not overbearing. And he went further to praise Dickson for how Dickson sort of, played a kind of role that gave him the free hand to pilot the state. What is happening in Rivers State is not all the foundations of what is happening in Rivers State is not just peculiar to Rivers State alone. In Bayelsa State, when former Governor Dickson, worked for the emergence of Doediri, there was a rift. There was the Dixon's camp, and almost immediately, Governor Diri started also trying to fight for his own political survival by building his own structure. Those two structures went side by side. If you could research that before the election. But what happened? Dickson played the role of the older one. He did not try to, whip up sentiments to an extent of destroying what was built. And that is an approach that has made Bayelsa State stable today. Because as a predecessor, there's how you could approach matters, of someone you brought into power. Not a case where the first point of call would be maybe to look at immediate removal of a government that has not even lasted for almost for up to a year. And I think it's that line we can use in judging what Dickson is saying. What did he do in his own time? So yes, every well-meaning Nigerian will say an instrumentality of human form led to the emergence of the governor. The governor, Governor Sim Fubara, have never denied that. He has also acknowledged that the former governor of Rivers State was the instrument at which God used in bringing him to power. The only point of divergence, which he said recently, that he cannot govern Rivers State on his knees. And from his action, in fact, most of us that are in the know of activities of government in some way, when we see how the governor applied restraint, it's not far-fetched for you to know that regardless the provocation, the governor still, he even said it, that these are persons he has eaten with. These are friends he built on that same visit. Now, when the presidency called them for the intervention and that House of Assembly was at the front burner, the release of their funds and all that, that he obliged to it because these persons worked for him. He shares relationship with these persons, relationship that has spanned decades. And as such, he doesn't feel that they should burn that relationship on the altar of politics. But why the governor is towing that part? What is the actions on the other side? I was on this station where we spoke. We can count about 5 bills that the House of Assembly have overridden the governor's assent. We can also counter.
Now, when you, if I may come in here and ask you 1 or 2 questions, when you talked about how the governor said he has applied restraint on his part, and then also talked about his efforts to bring peace in Rivers State by signing, you talked about the peace pact that the governor mentioned that he signed in that speech. The governor actually outlined a lot of things and said a lot of things, and he culminated, or he summarized his entire speech by saying that the House of Assembly does not exist, and that they are existing because he gave them a floating. And if he derecognizes them, he stands. And he actually said he has recognized them on that day. Now, but then, let me still come to what you have said. You know, beautiful speech made by the governor. However, it might appear to some people, or there are concerns in some quarters, that the governor's speech is speaking a different language from his actions. For example, he talked about the peace pact that he signed. Now, one of the things the governor boasted of when he became governor was that he was a man of integrity, if you agree with me. He boasted of that, and then also told Rivers people that his word is his bond. But then he went to the meeting in Abuja, and without consulting the people of Rivers State on whose mandate he became a governor, went to Abuja and signed a peace pact that he later came back to say the peace pact was a mere political solution, that it was not constitutional. Now, you would wonder, how come a governor goes to sign an unconstitutional, I'm using his language, an unconstitutional peace pact, then having signed the peace pact, coming back to Rivers State, implemented some and did not implement some. Now, one of the bases for the crisis in Rivers State, if you will agree with me, was the fact that all the items in that peace pact was not signed. So we cannot talk about the crisis in Rivers State without going back to the peace pact. I'm bringing up the peace pact because you brought it up.
Yes.
The governor said that. Now, if I may ask you a direct question, why didn't the governor implement all the agendas in the peace pact? Why didn't he represent the budget, 1? And secondly, the local government elections coming up so far. Has he funded RISEC for the elections?
Now,
quickly, so that Mr. Judge can have
beautiful. Now, from the background you laid, the governor knew that that was a political solution. And as a governor of a state, he intended to prioritize the peace and stability of that state.
Has he done that?
And that was the reason why he signed the peace pact.
Did he fulfill all?
Exactly. So the reason why, now I'm portraying why the governor sort of is taking this new stand, is that he went to Abuja, signed this peace pact with the intention that there would be some kind of restraint from the both parties. Now, to give it to the assembly, what they did was they withdrew the impeachment process against the governor, stepped it down. What did the governor do on his part? Before then, the governor had sort of not recognized the assembly, withholding their funds and all. The governor started, they started receiving their salaries and the funds due to them. Secondly, the issue of renominating the commissioners that had resigned. The governor sent these names to the commissioners, reabsorbed them in his cabinet. Number 3, part of what happened was withdrawal of cases in the court. You remember that the then speaker, as it may, recognized by Justice Danagogo, Right Honorable Edison Ehie, resigned and also withdrew his case from the court. These are processes that shows goodwill. And what did the assembly do? The only action the assembly did was the withdrawal of the impeachment process. And we sat here on a program like this to stipulate how the Rivers State Assembly did not pose itself as a body that is looking towards reconciliatory moves. Because from that moment till now, they had gone over...
What was the instruction given to the House of Assembly?
The instruction given to the House of Assembly?
With regards to the peace pact.
The peace pact was to withdraw, what they call it, withdraw the impeachment. And also all parties were given to withdraw cases from court. And on the side of the government, the then speaker, in quotes, Edison here, withdrew his case. However, the assembly went on with their case.
Are you aware that there was another case from the people loyal to the governor?
You can't...
Hold on, because all that culminates into the crisis. And the governor has a say in what happens in
Okay, who are the people loyal?
The people loyal to the governor, who called themselves River State elders, some of them, actually started the litigation, questioning the seats of the 27 lawmakers.
Yes.
So the governor never at any point told them, withdraw your cases. We are towing a path of peace.
Laurentia, you would be, you would not be entirely
We are looking looking at the entire crisis, because at this point, even as all they've withdrawn the impeachment process. Let me play the devil's advocate for a minute.
Yeah.
They've withdrawn the impeachment process. But then, the people loyal to the governor are still questioning my position. And I'm watching the governor not protect me. If in the interest of peace, the governor has, taken all these steps, why couldn't he ask these people to withdraw and let's do the part of peace?
The assembly had a case in court. As at the same time that Edison Ehie had a case in court, not the governor. Edison Ehie withdrew his case. The assembly case was still in court. So if we're talking on the basis of fair action on the point of instance, both cases should have been withdrawn by the both parties. Before you now talk of the governor going further to ask the elders to withdraw theirs.